Hello everybody, this is Make It Better. Before I start, at the end of the video, I'll be talking about the other series. So if you want to stay for that, just skip to the end. If not, let's get the story started. I believe it's the part of 25 of What If Deku Was a Ghost Whisperer. Last time we left off was after the meeting, everybody left and did their thing. But when they get to the chance to go in front of the building, I believe that's where I left off, they knock like usual, all the way up to Cannon. So to the point where not I found the secret door, put in the secret key pass, and opened up the secret basement. At this point, Mario asked Night Eye where to go. And Night Eye said to this direction all the way to the point. Every single detail. Mario said got it and immediately ran. But when he started to step 1 foot away from the crowd, the wall started to morph and put in walls and walls right in front of them, making sure they are trapped. Now, Bakugo is with Fat Gum as well as Kaminari, and they're both working together. Kaminari is shooting at the wall first, giving it a weakened texture, and Bakugo having a chance and breaking through the wall. So they're doing a teamwork of sorts to make it easier to break through the wall. But when they look around and find Zuko, they see Zuko going after Mirio as well. Mirio phasing through the walls, but Zuko passing through the walls as if nothing, already in his ghost form and just going along with Mirio. Zuko tells Mirio that he's going to be his backup, and Mirio nods to this and kept on running. Now, the girls, they are fighting with Nejire, and everything is normal to their point. But when it gets to when Fat Gum was targeted to go to another room, Kirishima went in as well as Kaminari. And at that point, they're going to have their own fight. And Bakugo is staying there because they need somebody strong enough to break through a wall. And Bakugo AP shots is strong enough to go through it. So he just make it wider enough for people can get through. So that is their game plan. Oh dang, something stuck in my throat again. Let's move on to the Fat Gum's fight. The two, the Shield and the, I'm not sure what his name was, Kaminari, start to throw blasts, lightning at them. Keep going at it until they had to put up a shield because the, what's his name? Dang it. I only can find it was Rappa. I'm gonna call him Appa because it's a little hard for me to say ours. So Appa against, and the shield against. Looking at the picture is making it harder for me. Hold on. So when Kaminari start drawing in lightning against the fight when Fat Gum is throwing in punches, they put up a shield, and at that shield, they both back off. Now Kirishima is throwing in the punches and weakening the very shield, and hopefully it will break down. But the man with the shield tells him that he had no way to break his shield. It's made with the most strongest element here, the mind. Which Kirishima is a little saddened by this, but Kaminari tells him, how about we both attack at the same time? So they do. The moment that Kirishima hits the shield, he backs away, and at that moment, it gets developed by lightning. It weakens him just enough where it gives Fat Gum enough time to charge up his ultimate attack. But Appa forces his partner to release it because he wants to be in the fight as well, and he start fight. But when the point of releasing the shield, Appa went and started attacking Kaminari first because he thought he was the strongest. So with one blow, Kaminari was hit, forcefully pushed back with that one punch all the way to the wall, making a huge indent. And he spit up a lot of blood out of that, which enrages Red Riot and start talking smack to Appa about all of this fighting against someone his own size, which Appa said, I can't find anybody else. But you seem strong enough, as he put two of his fists as clashing each other, making a huge pop, and said, are you ready for the next round? Which now Red Riot hardened his skin, getting up to a wall, and said, I'm ready to. And they start, Appa kept throwing haymakers towards Red Riot over and over again, like in the anime, kept on going. And when Kirishima was about to give up, he looks over to his friend, who is fully passed out, but still somehow dripping blood, which enraged him. And remembering in the back, further back in time, being a team with Bakugo, and asking him to be the wall, to be the rock, to be the impossible force to break through. So Kirishima straighten, I can't say it, his resolve, focused all of his energy into his quirk, and said, harden, now unbreakable. And it's showing a huge man of rock that is so strong, even Rappa not even able to move him an inch back with all the force, which he's getting excited about, and start throwing in more fists at him. And now Kirishima is throwing fists as well back at Rappa at the weaker points that he was trained by Fat Gum to push him back. And he is pushing Rappa back. Small centimeters, but enough where everybody can notice. Rappa sees this, laughs at all of this, and saying, finally, a worthy opponent, let's fight to the death. As they kept going, fighting, blow after blow, no kicks, they're all just a right or left hits or punches. And then, when the shield was finally come up, the shield guy telling Rappa to stop, you need to take a break, something feels wrong, something feels off. And Kirishima does not care for any of this. He still is going at it onto the shield, hopefully breaking it. And it does, as it starts to crack all over the body. And at that moment, in the background, Fat Gum has already changed his quirk, charging it up, making a huge blast of force into one fist. And he felt a hand on his shoulder. He looks over and sees Kaminari still awake, and tells him, I'll help you with the force. As he's still trying to keep himself up and conscious throughout this whole thing, because he still broke some bones, and it hurts a lot. But Kirishima, at this moment, using up all of his willpower to keep his quirk on the whole time, he finally moved out of the way. He looks over and sees Fat Gum and Kaminari standing there, holding up a right fist. Fat Gum with a glowing one, and Kaminari with a lightning-covered fist. They said 3, 2, 1, and they throw a huge smash, Fat Gum saying his signature something, but Kaminari just did the same thing, but instead of a fist, it's more of a two fingers pointing at them. And with that, all that force going straight towards the shield and breaking and going and getting, well, they're getting hit by Fat Gum's full force. But Kaminari, being the backup, is starting to hit them both at the same time and shocking them to a point where they can't stand properly. They're starting to shake or twitch because their nerves are getting affected more. And with the force and brunt force of Fat Gum's punch, it pushed them both back all the way to the walls. Rappa first, and then the shield guy. And for good measure, Kaminari did it again to shock them both, and it has shown signs of them passing out. Moving on to the next fight. Rocklock is getting attacked by Toga, and at this moment, she was depressed, well, saddened that she didn't see Zuko anywhere, but she saw Bakugo. Seeing him going against, she didn't mind it, so she went against him. And Bakugo did not care for any of this. He tried his best to take her down, but her flexibility and her being able to disappear like Zuko, he couldn't take and do it. Sadly, she got away, and he is very pissed. But he looks over to Rocklock and checking if he was okay. He sees there's a wound, so he colorized the wound itself to make sure it stayed shut, with the knife still in there. Rocklock has a moment of time to take a break, but he removes his hand as everybody was leaving the room and show a huge gash in his stomach. And he's just thinking to himself, he should have asked for that kid to cover that area, as he goes and passed out. Now Mirio, he went faster because Zuko was actually checking each room, seeing if there were any chances. They were passing through doors. Zuko did not overhear about the directions where Eri would be at, but Mirio did, so he went straight towards. So Zuko fell back behind just a bit to look through each room and see if there was anything there. He found one room, and this left him speechless. He saw a doctor table where everybody would operate, and he found a room where Eri would have been taken apart and put back together. So he took a moment of decision and turned on his phone and took a picture of this. After a few pictures, he leaves and immediately checks each room. He found another room. Mirio just passed right by him. Zuko was getting real close to it. He found another room, of a kid's room. A bed and a bunch of girls' toys all over the floor. He did the same thing. He took some pictures and ran off. As he was running, he sees Mirio standing right above some guy fully knocked out. Zuko asks if he's okay, if anything he needs any more help, and Mirio said no, but he does know where the leader is. Zuko said, okay, so what's the plan? Before that happened, Mirio actually said, this is the plan, as he runs right through the wall, going to Overhaul, and seeing Overhaul push or throwing Eri to another guy. As Overhaul, he turns around and starts fighting against Mirio, blow for blow, hit for hit, but nothing is connecting. Overhaul is trying to dismantle Mirio the second he touches him, but none of it is working until Mirio finally gets a kick into Overhaul's mask, making him have his mask come right off, showing his face finally, but he's starting to speak about the germs, the virus that is the quirk, and he wants to destroy everything, make it a full clean swipe, making a human only world. The quirk is a virus, and he needs to destroy it. And that girl, as he was pointing to Eri, is the key to it all. And Zuko, he finally goes right in. At this moment in time, Mario has been taking some damage from the other attacks that Overhaul has done, but he was going straight towards Eri. And Eri was getting a target of a bullet. The 2 shots was already gone to Mario, but the guy he shot towards Eri. Mario saw this, and he took his chance, started leaping towards Eri. And Zuko saw all of this and decided to go and try to go faster. And he grabbed onto Eri, and he was about to disappear at that moment. But he looks over to Mario, being real close, being seeing towards the bullet, and it seemed being even closer to that. He waited a second. It was a big risk, but he reached out his hand, and right when he felt something against his hand, he immediately turned them both intangible, where the bullet finally phased right through both of them, hitting the wall right behind them and shattering into a million pieces. Mario is surprised by this, as well as Eri, but Zuko did not take a moment's chance. He immediately pushed Mario out of the way because they were getting attacked again by Overhaul, and he grabbed onto Eri and pushed himself all the way to the back where the the bullet was at. At that moment, everybody else finally comes in. Now and everybody else, Eraserhead comes in. Well, when Zuko finally gets the chance to see them both, he immediately takes Eri and gives her to Sir Aizawa. Now, all 3 of them are fighting against Overhaul. Zuko throwing in blows when Mario is throwing in as well. They're both conversations or fighting against Overhaul, and Overhaul is taking too much of this because he's avoiding these 2 close-handed fists, Zuko and Mario at the same time, that he's getting hit from behind by Nai. And it's keep going and over until the point where Overhaul has enough, putting both of his hands on the ground and throwing out huge spikes all over him, where he's hitting Mario and Zuko at the same time. Eri is actually screaming out to stop, that she will turn herself in, but she's quickly stopped by Aizawa, having her starting to active her quirk, but Aizawa immediately cut her down. She is fully passed out. She is not able to use her quirk. Now Zuko and everybody else is still focused on Overhaul, but Zuko was looking over to Eri and saw her turning on her quirk, and was relieved to see that Aizawa completely knocked her out. But he was gladdened by this, and he went right back to the fight. But he saw a glimpse. His eyes were covered, and he sees a hand going towards him. Mario and Nai is screaming out, "No!" And they're trying their best to throw him off, but they're too close. It's just a millimeter away from Zuko's face. And when Zuko was about to turn intangible, some reason it was slow to him. It was turning his feet intangible, his legs, all the way up to his face. And when it was about to touch the one part, it was too late. Overhaul touched him just enough to make his whole body completely gone. Both Mario and Naai in shock to see Zuko there just a moment ago immediately disappeared. Gone, and they thought it was just his quirk. But when they see a puddle of goop, of just a puddle, they learn that Zuko was killed. With the enrage they felt by this moment, Muriel finally going full force with everything he got and trying to take down Overhaul. Overhaul is now being taken up to the skies as high as he can with Night's 1 ton weighted pawns in his hand and throwing it over to Overhaul. Overhaul is getting overtaken, and with what was his name? Aizawa canceling out his quirk right there, it's making it easier for Muriel and I to take him down. But when Aizawa finally closed his eyes, he was on the ground. Overhaul was on the ground, right next to his peers, and he grabbed them both, mixed it in with his body, and become that monsterish form that now Muriel and Nai can't really handle, and they're trying their best, but they're getting beaten and beaten down, and this has been going on for 2 minutes. We're looking, and something is coming out of the rubble, some kind of goop, and Aizawa is looking down, trying to look up, but he's seeing movement all around, and he thinks it's like another enemy, until something of a different color comes at him, but it doesn't go towards him. It goes right towards the puddle for unknown reasons. And then more and more is starting to gather back up into that one puddle, and it somehow is coming out of the puddle, forming into a humanoid shape, until finally it's solidified of the feet, the legs, the torso, the arms, and the head. Zuko, he breathes in, and he's kind of shaking at that moment that he looks over to his left hand and his right. He said, "Wait, but I thought," and he looks all over himself, and what the hell? And he looks up, seeing the battle still going on, and Zuko saying, "Questions later. Some reason I feel stronger." And he immediately throws himself up, flying towards Overhaul and giving him a surprise kick on his face, immediately pushing him further up into the air. Now is a fight battle with Zuko against Overhaul. Muriel and Naai was quickly taken down, but they weren't passed out. To their shock, and to even Aizawa's shock, they see Zuko fighting against Overhaul in fully ghost shape, covered like this. His hair is fully gray, but his body is now more ghostly like. All over his body is green, so he feels more powerful. And some reason it's showing some black as well on the green. And it's burning Overhaul, where Overhaul now doesn't want to even touch him because it's burning his hands. And every time he has to recover the part that he is felt burning, Zuko comes right back in. He is able to fly in the sky. He is flying, the most powerful part of his quirk. And he is taking down Overhaul over and over, giving him hits, punches, blows in the stomach, head, even the back. Everywhere that Overhaul can't reach, Zuko is doing to make sure he doesn't get back up. He started to charge up his energy beams on both of his hands and start pointing them at the arms. Each and every one of the fake arms finally came off, breaking loose, going into the ground and falling apart. Zuko is starting to go over way too much into this, and he's starting to get even more drastic, where he can't stop himself anymore. He is getting tired of seeing so many people getting hurt by villains to the point where he does not want to hold back anymore. So he is charging up an energy blast on his right hand and something freezing, almost ice crystals, falling off of his left hand. Zuko immediately did a double slash with both of his arms, making an X going straight towards Overhaul. And Overhaul is getting hit by this force, first feeling a deep freeze and then a burning sensation at the same time. He looks down and sees that he can't morph his body anymore. That part is fully, completely froze over and burnt over to a point where it's a permanent X on his body. And Overhaul can't really take this much pain anymore. He tried to take away the other two away out of his body, and their parts are completely gone. He somehow killed his own. He looks over to Zuko with fear in his eyes, wishing that he did not go this far, and he he Overhaul, in a joking manner, to everybody's shock, put his hands and tried to cover himself for the next blow. Zuko did not care for this. Muriel did not care for this. Even Naai did not care for this. They all are thinking in their head, this is enough. And Zuko threw one last smash into Overhaul's face, it completely knocking him out, almost half to death. And he's finally gone. In a imprint on the ground of 6 feet down of an Overhaul's body, or I should say half of it, since the rest of it did not form yet. Now, since it's reformed into his original body, some pieces are like missing, like someone has taken a big chunk bite out of his body. On 3 bites on his right leg, 2 bites on his left, a bite from his upper right shoulder, and fingers are missing from the left hand. Overhaul is in great pain, but he does not want to say anything. He is completely and utterly tapped out. He is extremely tired. And when he looks up and seeing a shadow coming over him, he sees the Zuko Midoriya, or the Phantom, standing over him and getting ready for another blow. But when he overhears all of his friends and the cops to tell him to stop, that you have done enough, he looks over. I don't think I can. The power is too strong. As he's holding himself back, but his fist is turning from green to blue, and then green again, and then blue again. And he's trying to hold back, but he's looking to them for them all. It looks like he's trying to throw another punch. And when Zuko finally throw a punch, to all of their shock, Zuko threw it straight into the air, making a forceful wind blast. The air itself immediately got cold, and then it got hot to a point where there was a sonic boom around the area that scares everybody. But after that moment, Zuko immediately steps back and took a seat. Well, he fell down, but he took a seat and started breathing heavily. And now Muriel and Anai came back to him, checking if he was okay, if he was fine. And Zuko said, yeah. I need some. As he falls asleep while passed out. Now, the aftermath is over. Everything is now Overhaul is being taken to the prison, and he got stopped by Cherokee getting this his arms this completely gone. Moving on to Zuko and Eri. As the doctors were checking on Zuko, they noticed some things were different from his original records. It shows that his body is more goopy, as you can say, more harder to find any parts of the original parts. And they are saying this in the surgery because they were told by Nai and Muriel that he was killed, and they checked through everything and they see it seems fine, but the body parts that were supposed to be there are more like disappearing and then reappearing over time. So they had to put this in their records until some guy comes right into the emergency room, and he was told by the doctors to tell him to leave, but the man just looks over, put his hand onto Zuko's shoulder, and everything was stable. All of his organs reappeared, showing the doctors that they're able to see everything and what was going on. And there were some missing parts in his organs that need to be repaired. So the doctors are repairing it and stitching them up. And the doctor asked this man, "What is he? What is your quirk?" And the man in the red coat said, "You don't need to know that. I'm here to help my young pupil." As the doctors did not want to ruin this chance, agreed and focused on the surgery. Now, when Zuko's finally out and he's getting visitors by his friends, Zuko is waking up but very slowly, looking towards everybody and kind of smiles. "Hey, oh God, what is this?" And he reached out for his stomach, grabbing onto it, and feels a lot of pain. He said, "What is that?" As the doctors were going to explain, but Mario actually chimed in, but I stopped him and told him let the doctors explain. The doctor explained to Zuko that he has some missing parts from your body. Something is wrong. Basically, your body put themselves together, but since it was in a rush, it did not put yourself in properly. There were some organs that were fused together with some other ones, and we had to reorganize and cut as well as stitch some of your organs back together. Zuko said, oh, uh, okay. How long until this is over?" And the doctor said, "We have no idea. We think it's around maybe a few months at the very least." Zuko said, "Oh, okay. Uh, where is..." As he looks over and he asks to Muriel, "Where is Eri? She is okay?" And Muriel said, "Yeah, she's fine. As he's tearing up, saying, she's gonna be okay. But you, how can you worry about someone else even though you're in a pain as well?" And Muriel is very confused about this. Why Zuko's like worry about someone else? But Zuko said, "Because I'm a hero. I need to care for everybody else first before my own." Which everybody's surprised, because he's speaking like a older pro hero that would say, almost like All Might. And when Zuko finally looks around and he sees his master to his right and say, "Oh, hey, master, when you get here..." Ow, ow, ow. Zuko is trying his best to keep a smile. And his master sees this and tells everybody, can you guys please leave? I need to talk with my pupil. As they do, fully understanding about all of this. Getting a little hot in here. Zuko explained what he felt. Well, his master told him he overheard that he died and then went back together again. Would you please explain to me what has happened? Zuko does, and when he reappeared, he felt more stronger and more capable of fighting against Overhaul. All of this going on, Zuko gets a little tired and started to fall asleep right in front of his master. And as Zuko was fading in and out of consciousness, he sees his master say some words, but he can't hear it, as he goes right back to sleep. His master knows exactly what is going on in his body, went out towards the very area that's fully destroyed by the Izukai's home base, overhaul fight against Zuko, and he picks up every and last remaining pieces that he can find. All of the liquid that was greenish bluish, put into a huge mason jar, sealed it up tight, and went right back to the hospital that night. Zuko immediately is sleeping a deep sleep. He can't feel anything. The doctors are all gone. The nurses are there and just checking it in the rounds. But the master sneaks right through everybody, as if he was never there. Goes right through the door. See Zuko sleeping there peacefully but in pain, because he can see the pain in his face even though he's asleep. And when his master finally opened the rest of the jar and dumped the rest onto Zuko, Zuko did not feel anything, but the goop itself was his remaining parts, and it fades right through Zuko's sheets, into his clothes, into his body, and it's reconnecting, reforming, everything, putting themselves right back together, right like it never happened. And Zuko's face expression shows complete and utterly calm, more relief. His master pat on his head. Fucking God. Yeah, I usually turn off my data and my Wi-Fi at the same time for no information comes by, but some rarely reason it doesn't stop. Okay, and Zuko, he tries to wake up. He sees some sunlight coming through, and he's getting back up. He yawns and looks around. And when he held onto his stomach, expecting pain to come right back, he feels nothing. He feels like the worst has come to pass and tries to press on the button. And when the doctors come in and ask what's going on, what's wrong, did the wounds open? Zuko said, no, it's something else. It feels like it's completely healed. I feel it's like it's easier to breathe. And the doctor said, that's impossible. No way you can get healed like that in one day. Recover girl haven't come here yet. And Zuko rip away the bandages. The doctors tell him to stop it. Even the nurses do, too. But when he took it away, the huge gash in his chest that was supposed to be there for surgery was gone. Which now the doctors are confused, and ask for a doctor that can see the X-ray, can use his eyes that can see it through the skin for everything. Which that doctor was there to see Zuko a surgery and go to help him with everything. He checks through everything and tells every single doctor that was there, even the nurses and Zuko, that his wounds are fully healed. Somehow his organs have rebuilt themselves. All the missing pieces were get right back together. And the threads, they're immediately gone. All of the threads that were connecting his organs together and stitching them real good, it was gone. So the doctors don't know what's going on, but let Zuko leaves the hospital for the next day. He was expecting someone to come by, but they never came. It's a Monday. Over at school, everybody is worried about Zuko. The girls are talking to the girls that were fighting against Overall, and the guys were talking to the guys, talking about all of their feats and their fights. And when they learn over the news how Zuko fought against the most powerful one of them all and survived, everybody's very shocked and surprised, but now are gonna understand how strong Zuko Midoriya really is. And when they finally got into the classrooms, as they were in their dorms, but they went into the classroom, and everybody was talking about this in the classroom. Aizawa came in and was looking for a problem child, because now he's been becoming a problem for everybody. And everybody's confused on who he's talking about, because they think that Zuko, and then one of them said, but Zuko is in the hospital, isn't he? He shouldn't be out for like another week, right? And when that happened, they hear the door opening, and they look over and see Zuko standing up, right, wears his uniform, not showing any signs of injury at all, as if he came out of no background of fights or anything like that, coming in as if it was normal, and took his seat. Few seconds passed with complete, utterly dead silence, which Aizawa knows what's going on, and he immediately put on his headphones, and completely block out the noise. And everybody in the whole class, even the kids that were his friends, and Araka and Tsuyu, yelled out, "How are you back? You were supposed to be out for the count for another week or even a month. How are you back?" And Zuko said, yeah, a lot of things happen. How about we, he looked over to Aizawa, and Aizawa put on the board, self-study, and he immediately went to his sleeping bag. Zuko said, "Oh, okay." And he turns back into his classmates, and they're all asking the same question: How is he able to do this? And one of the guys said, "Wait, are you faking it? Are you actually just extremely in big pain, huge pain, and trying to cover it up and be all heroic like? I see your game and I don't like it." This is, of course, Mineta being jealous, and also saying, "You're acting real strong for some girl, huh? Aren't you?" As he tried to nudge Zuko. And Zuko said, "I don't want to..." "Okay, and get off me, Mineta," as he starts to unbutton his shirt. Which most of the girls start to look away. The guys are asking what is he doing, and Zuko immediately took off the rest of his shirt, and shows that the scar that was supposed to be there is immediately gone. Two girls are watching all of this. The rest of them are not looking. And it's, Mina and Tsuyu, because they don't care. They say some very flattering comments, to a point where even Hakakuri finally looks towards Zuko, seeing him raising his shirt, and now Hakakari is immediately towards right in front of Zuko, slap him across his face, and covers and push the shirt back down and covering up the rest. Zuko saying, "Ow, what was that for?" As he looks over and see Hagakure kind of tearing up, blushing, but more on her face, she's actually happy, giving a huge smile towards Zuko, which promptly gave him a hug. And she was just saying to his ear, loud enough for the whole class, that she was so worried. I was so worried about you, more and more. And she was about to visit the very tomorrow or today after school. And Zuko hugged her tightly back and said, "I know. I was waiting for you. But I'm here. It's okay. Yes, it's okay." After it finally calmed down, their classmates, Bakugo actually asked Zuko what happened. Wait. As he looks and sees Zuko kind of standing strange. The kind that he will be keeping a secret of sorts. And said, "Did you?" "No. No. Don't. Please don't. I don't want to." And Zuko admitted, "Yes, I have learned a new power." And Kaminari, Kirishima, and Baka said, "No!" into the hallway, screaming out, "No! Why? Why?" As if it's gonna be the end of the world. But Zuko said, "But it wasn't my fault. I did not know about this. Turns out it was." As Zuko explained to everybody else that his master had knew about this but never told him about it. That he is somehow took in properties of a ghost and his body is slowly turning into one. And for that some sort of reason, I don't get it myself, but it's like, have any of you seen like the Ghostbusters? And someone said, "The what?" It's like a really old movie, kind of, like this. As he makes some ice cube. He got real good at it. He said, "Okay." Zuko said, "When it melts, it's like that puddle." I'm exactly that. Since I'm a ghost, this cube is a ghost. It has melted down to pure plasma, like this thing, as he make a plasma orb. And when it's melted, it can gather back up into me." And someone in the background saying, "So you're saying is that you can never die?" And Zuko said, "Yeah, I'm basically saying that. Yeah." Which some of them are pissed that Zuko is now being overpowered, or that's a cheat code, or even that's a stupid hack, all of this other stuff. And Zuko said, "Hey, I didn't know this until life or death situation. I did not know this until now. I'm just as surprised as you guys." Which Zuko has to sadly deal with everybody comments saying that Zuko is a never-ending story. He will never die. He will forever become a ghost, a boy. And Zuko comment back, "Hey, I'm not Ghost Boy. I'm Phantom." And everybody immediately called Zuko Ghost Boy to tease, make him a little mad, but more importantly annoyed of another stupid nickname that he can't get rid of now from Class 1A. Now, the classes has gone through and it's all normal for a week. The next week comes and Aizawa tells them this very important news on what they should be doing for, and he's trying to build up how scared everybody is getting until he says Summer Festival. I forgot what it's called. A festival. As everybody cheers that it's something normal for once and happy that it's not something extremely impossible to do, that they're finally trying to talk as a classroom what they should do, to a point where they all settle in a concert. Jiro will be the singer and everybody else will pick up their roles. And that's... Now I'm going to keep going. So after that, they go into the dorms, and Zuko and everybody else explain what exactly they can do. They're picking out the bands, Bakugo being the drummer, because Zuko said, oh yeah, Bakugo can play the drums. He's really good at it. And Kaminari, he's really good at the bass. As Kaminari say which one, the guitar or bass, I forgot which one it was. So, and then they learn that Jiro can sing. So, not surprisingly, she can sing. Everybody else has found their spot. But there's two other things. Zuko will take the spot for either the dancers or the background help. Hold on. And Zuko prefers to go with Kirishima to help out with the background effects and make the show more flashy. A full 3 weeks, a whole month actually, has passed. But Zuko, during this time, was actually going over to Eri, learning how she is and how she feels about all of this. She's more connected to Mirio, but Zuko. But when she sees Zuko, and she kind of remembers a small glimpse of something, but she when she was fully knocked out, all she could remember is Zuko dying. Everybody thought that she was fully passed out, but sadly she saw him die right in front of her eyes, and she couldn't do anything to help. But when Zuko finally walks in with Mirio just standing there talking about it, Mirio being surprised that Eri thought that she somehow killed Zuko, and to her surprise, and the one that saved her, is coming in through the door as if nothing happened. And Eri, with tears in her eyes, with a huge grin in her face, not grin, sorry. She tried to smile, but she can't. But she's starting tearing up extremely a lot, and she kind of leaned forward, almost falling into her to the floor. But Mirio caught her, put her right back onto her bed, and Zuko immediately gets right in front of her. I said, "Yes, yes. What do you? Did something happen? Wait, are you like scaring me?" As he was trying to walk away, but Eri pulled onto his shirt. I said, "No. I thought you." She said, "You were like a puddle. I thought he." And Zuko said, "Oh," as he immediately grabbed onto her and hugged her tightly, and wait until she stopped crying. He finally let go and sat down right in front of her and said, "I'm sorry about that. I didn't know you saw that part of me. And I was kind of gone, but my power put myself back together. It's not your fault. I was just testing on a theory." As he's lying right in front of her face, as well as Mirio, because Mirio learns the truth because of his masters telling him. And Zuko said, yeah, um, I didn't have a chance to test it, so I tested right there. But I'm so sorry that you had to see that. As Eri is very confused and asks, what's your quirk? As she tried to say it quietly, but Zuko heard it enough. And he say, I am a ghost whisperer. I am able to take up on the powers of a ghost and more of it. More cars are passing by. I'm getting pissed, and there's a fly. Well, a mosquito nearby. And this conversation, after passing more and more visits with Muriel over to Eri. And when Eri gets to learn about the festival, she doesn't know what that is. So, to Zuko and Muriel's shock of learning this, I wanted to invite her over. And I thought I was going to get the permission for that, which they're both happy about. And Muriel explained what their class are doing. Zuko explained what his class is doing. And Eri is just very happy to see where they go for school. As she said, I can't wait to see how fun will it be. She doesn't know how to say what she wants to say anymore. And Zuko said, but let's try our best to give ourselves a smile. As Muriel says, the best way to show your feelings is with a smile, right? As when Eri tries, it breaks their heart when they learn that Eri forgot to smile. How to smile. And Zuko said, okay, to himself, we're going to get this kid to smile and release all the darkness that was in her. As he goes over to his classmates and get prepared. He does not get a visit from Eri. But Muriel visits him in his classroom, talking about how Eri needs to be more in her, get more used to it with everything else. So, dang it, getting annoying. I'm gonna end it at this point because I'm starting to wing it, and I don't like that kind of way. So, thank you for listening, and let's get back to the actual other side. This is the part where everybody's gonna learn about your choice new series for the new series video. It's called like that. I have about 20 views, and I only have one commenter. One man or woman, don't remember who. And they say about Zuko X Momo or Zuko X Shoto, female Shoto. But the other part is the mutant. And since he was, I'm just going to say, assume it's he. If you put down your comment that you're a girl, I'll just say she, but whichever. And he says to be have Zuko as a mutant. And now, having the time to think about it, I have found a way to make him. I can do a. There's I'm learning a lot about mutants that I didn't want to learn about, but I'm not going to do any of those, the original powers or any of the ones that are in the comments. I'm going to do one of my own, for it won't be much of a copycat. I am the only thing that Zuko will have himself in that other series will be the X gene, and he is gonna be the only one to have this X gene. And you guys probably think it's gonna be lighthearted. I hope so too. Quotation mark. Hopeful. Now, I really want you guys to comment down on that video of your choice for next series for more details or more ideas. You need to hear the whole video to understand what's the rules. But with all that said, I think that'll be it. Thank you for listening. Have a nice day. And my next one will be fun, I guess. Bye.